The career you expected to cap off at 40 years could last 60.
There are very few people who can work 40 years and save enough money to not work for another 30.
Get ready for a 60-year career with a special series on your money briefing from the Wall Street Journal, Wednesdays in September.
Here's your morning brief for Wednesday, September 13th. I'm Kate Bullivant for the Wall Street Journal. The biggest IPO of the year is fast approaching, and investor interest in British chip designer ARM ahead of its Nasdaq debut tomorrow appears to be red hot. We'll get more details today when ARM and its underwriters formally price the IPO. However, there are already signs the world's leading chip makers and ARM's biggest customers are buying into the sale, with Taiwan semiconductor TSMC planning to invest up to $100 million. SoftBank, which has owned ARM since 2016, is selling about 10% of the company and expects to keep the remaining shares. The clock is ticking in labour talks between members of the United Auto Workers and manufacturers GM, Ford and Jeep maker Stellantis. Though the parties have until tomorrow night to agree on new 4-year labour agreements, the president of the UAW is said to have rolled out work stoppage plans, including targeted strikes that could escalate the longer it goes without a new contract. Meanwhile, automakers have built up inventory to provide some cushion in the event of a strike. UAW President Sean Fain is expected to speak in a live stream this afternoon, having reportedly expressed doubts about reaching a deal with automakers ahead of Thursday's deadline. And Vladimir Putin has met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at Russia's primary spaceport this morning. The two leaders spoke for 3 hours, with Putin offering assistance in building satellites for North Korea, according to Russian state newswire RIA Novosti. There is still no word on a potential arms deal between the two countries, but delegations are expected to continue discussions today ahead of a state dinner this evening. Stock markets in Asia ended the day mostly lower, and European shares were down in early trading. US stock futures are in the green ahead of today's closely watched inflation report. We have a lot more coverage of the day's news on the WSJ's What's News podcast. You can add it to your playlist on your smart speaker or listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.